Welcome everyone to another episode of Coral Living. Tonight we have our West Coast insider slash brother Jer back with us again. It has been a while. Welcome back to the show.
Always a pleasure. Nice, whatever that is dangling around your neck, Justin.
Just first.
What is it?
Look at us, we're spangly.
Is it a bomb? Well, it's good to have all the brothers back. We're missing one, but I'm sure he's doing all right. Tonight's subject matter, we're going to talk about conspiracy theories, and should we even entertain them?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't. You don't see it as a problem.
Well, it's a problem if somebody's just coming up with. That's all they do is just think everything's a conspiracy, and they overthink absolutely everything. Look into every little political policy or happening that goes against whatever they would believe or whatever they fancy, let's say.
Yeah.
But it would be ignorant to say that there aren't conspiracies going on.
I don't know if I'm defining this correctly, but would a conspiracy theory be that you think something nefarious is going on while, by some elite group or something behind the scenes controlling something? You don't have the evidence to really prove it, but you think that, even though you can't prove it, you still believe that it's actually happening?
Your spidey senses are tingling and you can't quite put your finger on it, but the story doesn't seem quite right.
Yeah.
I don't think it necessarily has to involve elites, whatever that is, wealthy billionaires, controlling interests. I don't know.
Someone who's got a power position, maybe.
But a person with a power position, there's probably information that the population is better off not knowing, quite frankly. And so it's so you get a story, a narrative told to you, and if you like to think about things, and it's fairly easy to look in and see, things aren't quite. I don't buy it. Something's not quite right there. You might say there's a conspiracy behind it. Conspiracy does sound loaded, though. It sounds like out to get you.
Yeah. I guess there could be varying degrees to that conspiracy.
Consider the source of the conspiracy. You know what I mean? It's one thing if somebody presents something well thought out and researched, who was that guy that made all those documentaries years ago, Bowling for Columbine and all that?
Oh, Michael Moore.
That's a little bit more, I am not a big conspiracy guy, because I'll get into that in a moment, but consider the source. Michael Moore, who's doing some research and stuff, and I'm not saying I believe what he's talking about, but I'm saying he is presenting it in a professional way. There's a lot of people that'll be, say, flat earthers, where I feel like saying, your problem isn't conspiracy theories. Your problem is you've got, a condition that's, you're avoiding life by, it doesn't even matter at this point that the Earth is, whether it's flat or not, because you've wasted your whole life trying to prove to people that it's flat. You know what I mean? You've lost your job, you're sitting in a garage with, red strings going to different points, obsessing and chain smoking cigarettes. Let it go. Who cares if it's a conspiracy? Your life is a disaster, Yeah. But somebody else that presents it in a more structured way that's actually effective about it, that gets a intelligent conversation going, then I would be a little more receptive to a conspiracy theory. But if somebody's coming just with the same old tired, they never went to the moon, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care whether or not they went to the moon, because there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah. There's other fish to fry at the moment.
Well, the level of which you are willing to go out to actually prove what your conspiracy is versus, your passion about the subject. Some people get really passionate about their conspiracy theory, yet they're not going to do anything to expose it. So that's where it could probably take you down a bad rabbit hole of not doing anything, right, about it. You know,
Well, it depends on the conspiracy. You know, whether or not we went to the moon is like so far from having any effect on my life. But if there's a conspiracy that's, say, keeping the lower class down or the middle class down, some kind of conspiracy that you're talking about involving elites, and then some kind of discourse in the general populace, like people literally looking at each other like, is there something we can do about this? Because I can't get ahead. You know, that's something else.
Yeah, well, that seems to be, like, establishments always use the word conspiracy theory to shut down any type of movement that might question or potentially, knock them out of power, right? So it's easy to just label something a conspiracy theory and then,
Well, yeah, basically, if you don't accept the narrative, wow, what are you, conspiracy theorist? It's an easy way to make you seem crazy.
Yeah.
And shut you down because now you're outside the group. You're not mainstream. You're not like everybody else. You're not playing the game, buddy. Like,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think right now is the most prevalent conspiracy theory going on right now?
I wouldn't throw myself in the camp of conspiracy theorists. I'm not monitoring conspiracy theories. But one thing I think is super interesting is the U.S. government coming out and saying, yeah, there's UFOs unidentified aerial phenomenon over the Pacific. And they say they're going to release all these documents, and they release videos that are so grainy.
Oh, yeah.
That are just ridiculous. And I can't put my finger on why they would do this. I could speculate, theorize.
Maybe
but
they're just trying to slowly get us more comfortable with the idea that beings from some other realm or planet.
No, there's no being. Here's the thing. There's no beings. There's no beings. If these beings were here, for anybody watching that isn't familiar with our family, our dad, he loves this subject matter, and I tried to tell him, Dad, you got to stop. If there were aliens out over the Pacific Ocean visiting us, Elon Musk would not have bought Twitter. He would have sunk $40 billion into trying to capture something.
Unless they're interdimensional, Jer.
Well, my bad. I didn't consider that.
I don't know. Like, you could just, insert your own theory as to why the footage is so grainy. It's like maybe to professionals they can look at that and kind of understand something going on that the layman couldn't.
I can go on Google Maps and get a ridiculously detailed picture from space of my backyard.
Yeah,
How they can't come up with something.
There's not one good.
Well, that's what I say. If that's what they're allowing us to see, what do they have? Like our government.
Well,
I
hate that argument. That's a ridiculous argument.
Is that what do you mean? I'm not saying I'm pro. I believe there's aliens here. I'm just saying.
Wait a second. You don't think there's aliens?
I think there's aliens that exist. I don't know.
I'm open to the possibility. I've got no good reason to believe we've been visited by aliens. There's no good reason to believe that.
Again, this falls under the category of I don't care. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's like up all night, like I've combed through hours of footage. I'm like, go to a doctor, Okay.
Yeah, but it is interesting what you're interested in, right? So if you're interested,
if you like it,
if you're interested in science fiction, or let's say the possibility of traveling in space and going to different worlds is appealing to you, you're going to go, what do you mean we just stopped going to the moon 6 flights in?
Yeah.
What do you mean it's been over 50 years and we can't go back? And nobody's going back. And then if you start thinking about it, why is Mars the next destination?
Well,
it's 6 or 7 months to Mars.
Here's the thing,
why wouldn't you just go and start? So you can easily think like, I can't go there because something seems fishy with the narrative to me.
I agree, of course, yeah.
So I don't I'm not saying we didn't go. How can I prove it? I don't know. But it's totally ridiculous that we haven't gone back. In my opinion, that breaks the pattern of human conquering and exploiting crazily. People were dying in the ocean trying to get across, find the end of the earth and the new world, and we landed on the moon first try.
But here's the
Never
thing.
never failed.
Here's the thing.
Got there every time, and there's nothing there.
Tied into the moon landing was the moon race. Was the fact that it was in the midst of a Cold War between, what were the two countries? Russia and the U.S. to get to the moon. And then if the moon landing was fake, it seems weird that there wouldn't be like avid Russians trying to prove that wrong. Like, look, we combed over the information. It didn't happen, And part of the thing why they might be focusing on Mars and averting their attention from the moon, because I said that for a long time too. It doesn't make sense to me. The moon's right there. Why would they not build a space station on the moon? But it's possible that maybe part of that reason is that Mars actually has an atmosphere. Maybe they really are looking for another viable option. I don't know. I don't believe.
Yeah, but once again, I'm not saying we didn't go to the moon. There just seems to be a ridiculous break in a pattern here that I can sympathize with somebody who's going, yeah, we never went to the moon. I mean, I get it.
I don't know.
I'm sort of in the camp of you. I don't care. And I care. The reason I don't care that much is because I came to realize nobody else cares. Nobody else cares. You point things out like this, and they don't care.
Yeah, no, they care.
It's like the UFOs. Our brother, I was talking to our brother John, and he said it perfectly. He was like, "What does it matter to me? Even if aliens were here and we had a triumphant arrival, it was televised. My boss isn't going to let me have the time off work to watch it on TV.
Yeah.
My life goes on. What do I care? I got more problems, more immediate problems to worry about."
Yeah. Some new alien cults would pop up.
That leads you down other rabbit holes. The flat earther. There's a whole bunch of people that don't believe space exists.
Yeah,
they
no
believe
space.
There's a dome over top of us, and nothing has ever even gotten out of the atmosphere.
Yeah, well, we all know they're crazy.
Yeah, have you considered that with the moon thing?
I'm not crazy for my beliefs. They're crazy for theirs, right?
I can't hear him. I just wanted to say one thing about the moon thing is maybe part of the reason why people haven't been more gone to the moon is maybe the moon is very treacherous. Like maybe there's more, because there's no atmosphere on it, maybe there's more asteroid impacts or something than we realize, and so they literally just don't want to go there because they can't spend a decent amount of time screwing around researching. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, the moon doesn't have anything special anyway, right? It's like rocks.
Yeah, but you could practice setting up little biodomes. You could practice landing things on the moon for how you do it on Mars.
It literally doesn't make sense that they wouldn't start by building a biodome or a space station on the moon unless it was literally too treacherous to do so.
Or trying to get cows and trying to raise cows on the moon, right?
Yeah.
Or chickens or something. Get some animals up there, see how they fare. If we're going to colonize, we're going to need more than just us going.
Yeah.
We don't just survive off of plants.
Yeah. Well, I would say, kind of switching gears here in the whole conspiracy camp, I think one of the major conspiracy theories floating around right now, I don't know if you've heard about, the World Economic Forum and how rich elite guys are getting together. That seems to be the biggest one. For some reason, it always pops up in my social media feeds.
Yeah, no, I think I might have clicked on a Russell Brand video one day, and now I get that in my YouTube.
Yeah. So
he's always going on about. I haven't watched too many videos on it, but I'm aware of he definitely has the conspiracy theory feel to him. Where
he tries to be as safe as you can possibly be when it comes to that subject, and be like, I'm not saying, but don't you find it weird that all these people are getting together and only a certain type of media outlet is allowed to go, and it's just to promote what they're doing, not to question or
See, Russell Brand is interesting because when he talks, there's a way of talking where you kind of pigeonhole someone into like forcing their mind to agree with what you're saying. When you talk rapid fire, you spit a bunch of things at them and leave no room for like a counter argument. It's like, he'll be like, he'll say a bunch of stuff and then slip in and like, I don't know, I'm just saying, but blah, 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 and then this happened, and then this happened, and this happened, so, and there's a certain type of person and certain way of talking where you rapid fire spit out a bunch of stuff to like suggest an argument, but there's no room, there's no pause for somebody to be like, well, actually, that's not right, or, actually, that, the reason for that is this, and then it makes it compelling, some conspiracy theory or some any kind of theory, where rational, logical weighing what's really true takes a little more time and patience.
Do you think that there's a segment of the population that doesn't feel in control of their lives, and a certain segment of that population tends to gravitate towards conspiracy theories? Now, let's put it, definitely. I think this was very intellectually dissatisfying to me when I first heard it, but the more I've given it some thought, the more I kind of agree. It would be chaos if we knew everything that was going on, because I'm sure it's way more complicated to govern a country and feeding all the people in a country and making sure the people have housing, at least at a bare minimum standard, and that we're in some way we're all tied to oil and gas, and we need to keep people able to drive to their jobs and keep the whole machine running, and
hedging out nature.
And it's just like if you go to work, there's different tiers of responsibility, and you don't know what you're like. I'm in construction. I don't know what all the things the foreman knows. The foreman doesn't know all the things the site superintendent knows. The site superintendent doesn't know all the things the project manager knows. And they don't know all the things that the executives at the company know. There's levels to knowing and making decisions. And it would just be, everybody can't have a say. You just can't. Somebody's got to lead the charge. Somebody's got to make a decision that maybe, hey, listen, this isn't really working, or it's not going to work. Or there's a high chance, a good probability this isn't going to work, and we need to change directions and change gears.
People govern.
Or it's like it's like a job. Like I don't know what the foreman knows. The foreman doesn't know what the superintendent knows, and there's a hierarchy where people make decisions. And maybe with society, it's just necessary that people who really produce the goods, produce the services that run the whole ship, they get together and they're like, hey, this isn't working, or this isn't going to work for much longer. We need to re-strategize. And they do have the power. And if they're corrupt as anything, the people will revolt. But of course, they're not just going to spill the beans on everything they're talking about.
Yes, to a certain extent. I think for a long time, I think that's always been the case. But I think things have gotten bad for too many people recently. So maybe that's why they're clinging to some of these conspiracy theories. But really what they want is they just want a better life. But they feel like if they can get those unknowns out there, they might be able to bring some stability to their lives.
I mean, I can't comment. It'd be easy to say, well, just manage your money better or whatever. I'm sure we all could do that better to some degree. But it's insensitive, and I don't know what people are going through on every tier down, right?
Yeah.
People, you're right. People are struggling, and people are fed up, and they want an easier life. They do want. I think in some way, you must think that politicians are there to protect you, and we want to be protected, and you're not doing it.
I don't feel protected. I don't feel I do not trust our system. I don't like it. There's certain aspects of that I like, there is a certain amount of stability in North America. We still have it pretty good. The argument always seems to be, well, you could be living in communist China or something like that. And I was like, well, let's just set the bar right down low. Like, yeah, I guess you're like, but people are like, I think we could do better than this. Is this the best we can do?
But hey, maybe what would be the joy in living if there wasn't the opposing force and the to the happiness,
spice of life,
the spice of life. Like, yeah,
do
exactly.
We really think that? Is that what we want?
No, I mean, but real, like, if you take away all your problems, what do you got? What do you got?
Well, I think reality will always offer up a challenge for you.
I don't want problems. I don't want problems. Like, I don't invite that.
No, I'm not saying you invite. I'm not saying anybody invites it, and I'm not saying anybody should be looking for a new problem. That's not what I'm saying. I'm as a part of existence. Without these problems, like if there was no problems that presented themselves, what would life be? What
Awesome.
Like would you really know what happened? Like if there was.
I think
like,
everybody's built different. I was just saying to James before we started this that I think that everybody differs so wildly. Like, yeah, a utopia, like a peaceful utopia, for some people would be like, bruh, like I couldn't be much more bored. This is lame. You know what I mean? But for me, it's like, personally, it's like I like peace. I like entertainment and novelty.
As do I.
And pleasure.
I'm way more wired for harmony and peace and quiet. As an introvert, I like my quiet time.
Yeah, me too.
And getting together with having to meet lots of people becomes exhausting. I like the friends that I've got, and
So what good would it be for the higher ups to keep us so busy and not have a chilled back, relaxed? What's the benefit of that? Why would that be a conspiracy theory? Why would someone want it to be this way?
What do you like? I don't know what the prevailing theories are. I don't really
to keep it like it's all like if we're caught up in doing mindless tasks 24/7, we won't know that we're slaves, really just working for a system to make a select few people live a lavish lifestyle.
What if there's a force governing this whole realm that we're in that literally gets charged up, or like our suffering or our fear is like a commodity, like it's like some kind of use to some force that oversees our entire reality?
Don't say such scary things. No.
What I don't know. I'm just being full of shit. But
that would
I don't know. Like, I do think that there are some people that wouldn't be happy with everyone having the same thing. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
A non-sociopathic person might have the attitude like, I'm okay with you having all your needs met and being just as happy as me. I'm okay with that. But I get the sense sometimes that there's people that are like, I don't feel validated and I don't feel like my life is got meaning or worth it if I don't know that you want to be me and don't have what I have. And
I think there's all sorts of different
sick. You know what I mean?
Not necessarily sick. When I was younger, I used to think that maybe that was a morality problem. Now I think people are just wired different.
Yeah, it is that people are wired differently, but I'm on Team Justin, and so I say that that's wrong because I don't want that. I don't like that. I don't like those types of people because they seem to be wired in a way that's like are okay with the whole situation being shit, as long as.
No, they're just okay with the best rising to the top, and if you don't rise to the top, well, they don't understand you, and you don't understand them because they're like, why don't you just try harder, be better, try harder, work harder. The hardest worker and the most capable people make it to the top, and that's what's important.
Right, but say a 6'5" guy approaches a 5'5" guy and says, "Stand up and fight me like a man." It's like they're hardly the same species. It's I don't have this. not everybody shares the same faculties and proclivities and abilities. So somebody saying that, like, why don't you just try harder? Or whatever the case may be. It's like, well, well then fine, you're okay with me doing what I need to do to succeed then, right? Like which their answer is going to be no, it's not. Play exactly by my rules, because it's just self-biased in the end, People seem to lack the ability to admit that they are incredibly self-biased. Like, you want it your way. Everybody wants it their way. You don't want it my way if your way's different. You don't also want my thing to be true because they're opposing forces.
Yeah. But you also come to an understanding, at least would be healthy, I think, to come to an understanding that, okay, I want it my way, and obviously you're going to want it your way. So in order for us to, get anything, we're going to have to kind of like meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, but there's so much room in that little meeting in the middle for people to like, I'm just not even gonna say anything and do this thing here, so I'm still a little bit ahead.
Dude, you gotta scooch over a bit here.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly think the thing that could save humanity is unification, like a global unifying thing. There's some people that are like, no, like they do not want that by any means. That's the Borg to them. It's evil. But I actually think that it's a sign of like a something on Earth going in the right direction when it can work together. The more cohesive and working together it is, the better it is for that species. I think I see.
Isn't that happening?
Nature.
Isn't that kind of happening a little bit?
It is. Like it is.
Europe becoming like a European Union.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it is. But see, part of all this frustration and a lot of the contention, like, things feel more frustrated now with everybody being able to go online and see everything and anything all of the time. There's room for people to really go down frustrating rabbit holes and contentious rabbit holes, and all of a sudden there's trolls there throwing their 2 cents in just to cause trouble. This is the birthing pains of that, and is it clear that when the dust settles, the earth will actually come together? Or is it clear that when the dust settles, it'll be nuclear dust settling? Yeah.
I'm more inclined to believe the latter. I really don't. I think there's variety built into the system, whether there's like a god or whatever force that governs existence. It's diverse for a reason, and it keeps it interesting. And we're never getting to a collective. We're never becoming the Borg. That's never happening. Because you feel too many things. And eventually, what are we going to join with Europe? And when Europe decides they want to do something, we're going to be like, I just do it because I'm part of the Borg? Or are you going to feel like, that doesn't really work for us over here?
Yeah, good point. The scary thing is, though, I think if we don't Borgify, that we're probably headed for some serious calamity.
I actually see kind of like humanity uniting in like Star Trek-esque mode. I actually see that as a possibility.
No chance.
I know.
No chance.
Look, I see it.
No chance.
I'm like 1,000 years.
Laughing.
In 1,000 years from now, hey, that's okay. You can disagree. I don't care. No, he's entitled to his opinion. I think that
he's wrong, but he's entitled to it.
I don't see it happening for like another 1,000 years, but I do see it as a possibility for humanity.
The only way that there's an overarching unification of all of humanity is if we are invaded by aliens, some alien species, and we have to unite together to protect Mother Earth.
Or
other than that, not happening.
Or if we eliminate like poverty and starvation and all that. Like, I think if we can,
I just don't think that's a possibility.
If everyone had their survival needs met, I think the world would be a much calmer place.
I think that eliminating any kind of hunger and having everybody's needs met is possible. I do think that, but I don't think that the result of that would be everybody coming together. In fact, I think you would see very bizarre manifestations of people going apart because of the first thing I said, that people would be like, I don't want everybody to be fed and have everything, because then, what good is life? The only thing that gets me up in the morning is knowing that somebody else doesn't have what I have.
It's not just that, though. I don't know if it was Jordan Peterson that talked about the concept of relative poverty. If you're poor and everybody in your neighborhood's poor and you're all at the same level, you're not miserable.
Yeah.
You're all in it together, and it is what it is. You live in your starter homes, or you're renting starter homes, and
catch rats.
You just work to make ends barely meet, and you don't have luxurious stuff. So to counteract James's argument, if you just get rid of poverty,
I was just saying it as a starter position. I wasn't saying it was the full deal. I'm just saying it's a step in the right direction.
But okay. So where do you draw the line at poverty? Because the second is everybody's needs are met. Well, now you live next to the guy that lives in a ridiculous palatial home, and it's so glaringly obvious that he has a way better life than you'll ever have. You're never having the life he has. Not possible. You're not getting it, and you see. His wife is hotter than yours. His kids are more successful than yours. Everything he does turns to gold, and your life is shit.
Yeah, but your needs are met. And in fact, when you go to the market, people come up to him and kiss his hand, and then they ignore you. You are an ape, and that kind of social thing will negatively affect your psyche. You will get depressed if your social standing is not good. It doesn't matter if your needs are met.
No, but your social standing would be fine if this guy just didn't live beside you. But because he lives beside you, now you feel like garbage, and now you're poor relative to him. So where's the poverty line? Where is it?
Yeah.
If you've got enough food to eat.
Yeah. Well, maybe...
In this country, you'd still be poor. If you just got enough food to eat, you'd still be poor.
Again, I'm not saying I'm right. And I'm not saying it's happening soon. I just think inevitably, if we stay here long enough, it might be a possibility. Maybe you can flatten that. Maybe humans will get to a point where they've lived that extravagant, carnal life so much that they get sick of it, and they all realize, oh, that leads to meaninglessness or non-fulfillment or something. And then
that's called wisdom, and that's been around forever. And nobody likes wisdom. People like lust, carnal cravings. That's what they love. They don't love wisdom.
Salt, drugs,
they don't love wisdom. Nobody likes wisdom. Nobody likes it. It doesn't sell. If you're peddling wisdom on the internet, you're not getting anywhere. Unless maybe you're Jordan Peterson or Sam Harris or whoever the intellectual guys are. There's a handful of them. But there's millions of people making millions of dollars doing the most ridiculous things on YouTube.
Yes.
And they're making the bulk of the money.
Yeah, you're right. There's nothing sexy about wisdom.
No, there's nothing.
It's
nothing.
Not sexy to be wise. It's like,
name me what?
It's kind of asexual. It's like, you can't be, you're a creepy cult leader if you're sexy and wise. You're sleeping with all the members and you're a weirdo.
Yeah, it's better to just be the leader of a sex cult than to be wise.
Than to be actually wise.
Maybe the conspiracy theory is to make it so we believe that we cannot reach any type of a utopia. Maybe the conspiracy theory is that don't let them ever feel like they can actually get it, because if they can get it, then we don't get to have all the awesome things that we have, or something like that. Maybe.
I just think it's impossible for the poor and the middle class to band together, because they never will. Here's the problem. If you're rich people stick together, at least in my mind. Maybe this isn't the case. In my mind, this is how it works. Rich people stick together, and they have their nice communities, and they all cooperate in having a nice community. They get together and make investments and create companies and do things, and they're hard workers. It's not just about who you know. they're hardworking people and they have a vision. Now you get down a certain level in society, and let's say the people at the top do become corrupt. There's one easy way to dismantle the whole system. It's the easiest thing in the world. Do nothing. Do nothing. Don't go to work. Tomorrow is do not go to work day for the whole world. And if that doesn't shut everything down, then the next day is we don't go to work. And then if that doesn't shut everything down, it's the next day. The problem with middle class and poor people is there's always going to be somebody that's like the eager beaver that's going to be, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I'll do it for less.
Yeah.
I'll do it for less money.
Maybe you can explain something to me, but I've never understood the fact that, like, hero worship. Like, somebody will come along, right? Like, it's easier to sell a product. It's easier to get people on board with what you're doing if, say, you're like a beautiful person or you're already successful. Like, you know the Bible verse, like, to those that have much, more will be given, and to those that have little, even that what they have will be taken away. Yeah. People, like, act that out, meaning somebody will come along and be like, I have a really good invention, and people will be like, yeah, but, like, you know, does anyone else think that his invention's good? Like, it's like, don't look at everybody else. I'm telling, like, look, watch it work. And it could be something that actually works, and it'd be like, yeah, come back to me when your brand is a little more good looking or something. And then they'll see some guy that's got everything, or some girl or whatever, and then people will be like, people with nothing will be trailing behind them, giving that little what they have to somebody that's already got more than. It's like, stop paying attention to the guy that's got everything he has and everything that he wants. Why don't you, why would you do that? Why would you hero worship? Why would you do these things when it means less for you, sucker? You're not that. You're not that person. You envy that person. So what the hell is the matter with you?
But maybe you get to feel. Maybe it's you get to feel. You want to get the feelings by associating with things, right? Like,
it seems foolish, but wisdom's not sexy. Salt and sugar and
only somebody that overthinks would think you don't want to be next to a beautiful woman or a guy that looked like a Greek god and was rich and powerful, and maybe that might rub off on you. Only somebody who thinks would think that. If you don't think, you're good. You're good. Stop being miserable. People that don't think are way happier than people that think. Just trust me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're right.
And I don't say that as I say that kind of tongue in cheek to be funny. I'm not, for anybody listening out there, I'm not saying don't think. It's just, if you put too much thought into things can, sometimes it's better just to be swept away in the moment. Sometimes it's better to just, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a time to fight. There's a time to fight. There's a time to be disgruntled. But half the time, the things that work for a reason.
Yeah, and you're right. It's a recipe to be miserable if in a group of lemmings you're like analyzing the situation and overthinking everything. Like you're gonna wisdom yourself into depression. Sometimes it is get along to move along type thing. But this seems perverse or wrong about that. Like, just don't think. It gives you wrinkles anyway. Seems like something wrong with that. It is the weirdo that's coming along saying, like, you're all crazy. You're all wrong. They're like, shut up, idiot. And then, like, engage in corruption and all the lemmings go over the cliff together. But they don't even care because you'd be like, I told you were going over the cliff. They'd be like, you're still a loser. We're still happy. We win. We wanted to die together. You can't win. So don't even try to win.
It's fine. It's fine to think about things if you enjoy just thinking about them. Like
Do I look like I enjoy thinking about things?
But if you don't enjoy it, it's like playing video. My son, he'll be sitting at the PlayStation, just swearing his head off at Call of Duty, He's mad at everybody in the game. They don't know how to play. He's unaware that he doesn't know how to play. He's just miserable. But this is a game that's supposed to be fun. And so I think the thinking game is quite similar. Like, if it's not fun, why engage in it? Why get all like,
take a break,
wrinkled, bitter? Why?
Take a break.
Why
from
is the
thinking.
crease in my forehead? Why is my head dividing in two?
Yeah.
You know?
I know.
It can be fun just to think of things. Have the observations for yourself. If anybody ever did care, you could say, hey, what about this?
Yeah.
What about that?
Yeah.
But chances are those people are few and far between. The amount of people it's like going back to like, I think it's fascinating that the government has said there's unidentified aerial phenomenon over the Pacific Ocean. They're visiting us. No, this is technology beyond anything we know. It can travel ridiculously fast, vertically, horizontally. It can stop on a dime, midair, go. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Well, it's
The
because
news
they
doesn't even
can't
care.
see.
That's
It's
what
because
Dad said.
the like what they're presenting people with is like the shittiest video footage. Like
Hence
that's
the
why.
conspiracy theories. But you could be mad. You could be like, it's a conspiracy. Or you can just go, you know what? It's pretty interesting that basically aliens are among us and nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And what about? And then you can talk with the people that might be like-minded. But I go to work. There's some people that are like-minded. There's some people that think you're crazy just for bringing it up. Oh, that's the conspiracy theory guy. And I don't even. I just happen to know because Dad knows. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I think it's interesting, but I personally don't think there are aliens.
So do you think anything tangible can come from giving time to a conspiracy theory? If enough people get on board and think something's real, can they, bring some actual change?
If you're gonna overthrow the powerful, you better be powerful. You're not gonna do it being a lemming.
So you would have is there any truth to power in numbers? If 90% of the people in a country, they couldn't overthrow. No,
Nope.
you don't think so?
I don't
Yeah.
think there's any. Maybe to a degree. I shouldn't say that. But
Well, people have taken over. Their
people are
countries.
people.
What about the
To
French
me,
Revolution?
to me the most
Revolutions
interesting
before.
thing in the world is how people with charisma and sort of like an innate power, they have it. It's something they possess. It's not something I believe I possess, but maybe it's accumulated over years. I don't know. But the concept of like a Napoleon and Alexander the Great, people that just a Hitler. And I don't mean to throw Donald Trump in the like Hitler, like tyrants. And I'm just saying, people like, it was interesting during the elections in 2016 when everything was against him. Everything, every kind of like, they dug up all the dirty laundry over a lifetime and threw it at this guy, and unflinching. Unlike any other politician that would have come forth and said, I apologize for my actions. Unfazed.
Yeah.
And rose to the top, became the president of the United States as if it was destined to be, whether you like him or not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I think he would not be the type of guy I would like. I'm not 100. I'm not an anti-Trumper though. Like I think people, because they dislike his brash attitude and his.
Do you think that our elections are rigged? Do you think the American election is rigged?
Once again, I don't dig into these things enough to know. It
I'm
certainly
just asking.
It certainly wouldn't surprise me, but it's probably got far more to do with super low voter, at least in this country, low voter turnout. People don't really care. You can't tell me these people debating when it sounds like two kids bickering back and forth are the best this country can produce. These are the people.
Awful. Although they're getting finally starting to get some somewhat intelligent people behind the,
No, I like Pierre Poilievre.
Yeah, he's interesting. He's like, to me,
Yeah, no, I
the
agree.
Canadian Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
He's a statistician.
Yeah, no, they're don't get me wrong, but when you listen to some of these debates, if you put in half a second of thought of like, is this how the smartest people that are capable of running our country, is this how they interact?
Yeah, it's so true.
No, it's a show for TV.
They're frontmen.
It's for entertainment.
Yeah.
It's for entertainment.
We just had a provincial election, and we had the lowest turnout. I think it might have been in history of the province. It was something like 43%. It was ridiculous.
Because people don't believe that anything they do can change.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of good reasons to believe that. It's especially in this day and age when you can get your hands on all the information. You can get your hands on all the information you want to know. Of course, you know the politicians are lying to you. Whatever Doug Ford in Ontario said, he's not going to do what he said. He's not. He's going to do what he feels like he needs to do, or what he's being told to do, or something we don't understand the reasons why. He'll do that.
Whatever his analytics team says is the smartest.
We'll just get him enough power for the next run. Someone
What's
was
that?
saying that. I was just saying his analytics team will tell him tell him to do whatever he needs to do, just a bare minimum to get him enough power to have control in the House or whatever. Yeah,
lots of times you're just buying into ideas, right? You're buying into the ideas that conservatives stand for family values and low taxes, not a lot of government. Is Doug Ford going to slash the government? No, he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
Is he going to drastically reduce taxes? He's not going to do that.
Well,
you buy into what he represents, and same on the Liberal side.
Yeah,
are they really going to help you out? Did Trudeau does $10 a day for daycare really going to help out when you give out $10 and the daycare is just up everything $10 a day? Did you come out a winner? Is that really helping? That's what's.
I remember he said that with the carbon tax, we would be getting checks in the mail. We would be getting money back for this carbon tax or something. I could be totally wrong about that, but I could have swore he said we were going to... He was like, it's not going to cost the people anything because they're just going to get the money back. I'm like, I don't know. I haven't seen any money.
Well, one, that's a terrible... Why take the money in the first place?
It's ridiculous.
You're just giving it back.
But people were asking him that when he said he was going to do that. They were like, why are you doing that? And now you've just created... You have to filter money through a system to send it back to the people that have already spent it. I think it was just to be like a psychological game to get you thinking at the pumps. I think that was what he was trying to sell.
I think the only time you'll see things would have to get really bad to see a revolution. Things would have to be so dissatisfied. But what are you going to do? The problem is there's too many people that have it good enough. And they'll say, why focus on being negative? Why count your blessings. Name them one by one.
Yeah.
Stop being miserable.
Yeah.
Be thankful for what you got. Be thankful. Okay, gas is ridiculous. Inflation's at all-time record highs. Slowly but surely, as inflation goes up, we're going to exacerbate it by... I know they say that you raise interest rates to lower inflation, but are groceries coming down? No, but your mortgage payment just went up.
Yeah.
Your gas is up, your mortgage, everything's going up, and it's a catastrophe.
Yeah.
But it's not whose benefit.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. I don't know. People fight, tooth and nail for the system that we're living in, and I'm just the guy running around saying, can't we do just a little bit better? Can we not have a little bit better life? It definitely feels like it doesn't matter how hard you try at your job, how much money you make. If you're within a certain spectrum of the system, you're
literally a certain tax bracket.
You're always going to be where you are. You're not, you just probably as you get older, will get a little bit less.
The system just it's definitely not the worst. Like you said, you can make it better, I'm not a genius. I don't, to be honest, I don't give a lot of thought into how to make it better.
I feel people are like, they're so comfortable with what they have. They're afraid that any type of little tampering will ruin what they already have, and so they'd rather stay where they are than try to do better.
Fair enough, though. Fair enough. Not everybody's an entrepreneur, right? Not everybody is wired.
Yeah.
The system rewards capitalists, rewards entrepreneurial types. The system overwhelmingly rewards those people. And then it really rewards people that are intelligent and make good decisions about their education. Because if you, there's lots of smart people that don't go to school and don't have an awesome life.
Yeah.
They're super smart and they can figure out a lot of stuff, but they don't have the education. But if you get a good education and you become like a great servant in the system, like a lawyer, a doctor, anybody specializing in a certain field, you can make a great living. And why would you want to change the system? Because you're smart and you made a good decision to get a good education. Mm-hmm. To you, the system isn't broken.
Yeah.
But what if you're not wired that way? If you're not just wired for direct obedience and you're not entrepreneurial, you don't care about just making money and selling goods and selling services. It's not what you want to do with your time. You want to be artistic. You want to you want to paint, or you want to sculpt, or you want to just fix your house up and have a nice living space. The system isn't going to reward that.
Yeah. No.
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes. What do you mean?
Like a celebrity artist.
Yeah.
How do you not know what I'm talking about? Every now and then.
Yeah, every now and then you strike gold with your artistic.
No, that's the exception to the rule. Listen, for every singer out there, for every singer that's rich and famous, there's thousands singing in pubs and trying to peddle their goods the best they can do on YouTube.
Yeah.
I went to a church where there was a woman singer that was like the best singer I'd ever heard. Flawless live. Flawless. Just amazing.
How about all the artists stop creating any art then? If there's oceans of people that are, for every million artists that will never be discovered or whatever the case may be, one of them gets marginally successful. How about they all stop then? It's like, you're being selfish and unfair, Justin. You could be a music teacher, you could be a blah blah blah.
That's to my point that I made earlier, that there's always going to be somebody that'll be, I'll sell you this for. Yeah. Somebody will always come forward and be like, screw everybody else, Yeah. And all it takes is one. It just takes one person. So you can't. And I'm not saying. I hope anybody watching this wouldn't think that I'm saying rich people are bad, because that's not what I'm saying. And I'm not. Of course, there's corrupt rich people, and there's tons of benevolent, hardworking, good rich people that deserve everything they've gotten. They were fortunate, and just like there's tons of, hardworking middle class people that just fall on hard times, that things don't work out for them. And there's tons of people that have a great life, have a life that's well balanced, and they couldn't be happier that they get to spend the time with their kids, their wives, their extended family, get to do the activities they want to do, get to see the world.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like conspiracy theories on some level are just fun for having. What's so funny?
Just that we're bringing it back to conspiracy theories. We're way off track here.
An hour in. Let's bring it back to.
Hey, Jared. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. But what I was trying to say is that it sounds like conspiracy theories on some level are pretty much useless, and if it's going to really get any traction or do anything, the closer it gets to becoming, everyone kind of hopping on board of it as its truth, that it just moves into the realm of reality then, if enough people believe it. Maybe? No?
Yeah, no. The only way to fight it is you better believe, you better have the fortitude, the strength, the power if you care about combating it. Otherwise, just treat it as a fun intellectual exercise. Hey, maybe this isn't true. What do you think about this?
I think it's good for the brain because it makes you search for, like, why would it be that way? I think it's good on some level.
Listen, if something's glaringly obviously wrong, like that doesn't really make sense. Why would it be that way? Yeah. Sure, discuss about it. I think the term conspiracy theory, to Justin's point, it go like flat earthers. That's great. That's in the realm of crazy, right? Like,
maybe it doesn't matter if it's in the realm of crazy or not. It's useless to pursue. Like, most of the time.
Yeah, but lots of things are useless to pursue and are fun.
Yeah. If you're a flat earther, I hope you're like in the process of trying to get a boat and get to the edge of the ice wall so you can climb over.
No, even that would be a waste of time because you would go, then you would really know and come back and be like, I went, and people would still not believe you. So no, it's probably a waste of time.
Well, not if they find glory on the other side of the ice wall.
Unless it's just something you like. You know, if you're not neurotically obsessed and you just do it, entertaining it because it's fun, then go nuts with anything. But if it's ruining your life, let it go. You know, and there's a big difference between some, like, town quack and somebody who's, like, you know, an effective, intelligent person presenting that idea. Even then, it wouldn't be worth it to pursue because you'd still come back. You're not going to come back the savior with all the information. You'd still come back and be utterly rejected for having done it. So don't pursue that unless
it's very similar to, like, in the Bible, what does it say? Like, a prophet is rejected in his hometown, something along those lines.
A prophet finds no honor in his country of origin.
Yeah, but it would be a worth and wild
it
would be a worth and wild endeavor if you knew that it was good enough just for you to see what was over top of that wall, and you didn't need anyone else to know it. You just need to know that.
But here's the thing: if you discovered something miraculous, would you be happy that just you knew?
No, because humans are deeply social, and we actually like to share things. We actually need validation from others. It's like a curse how social humans are. You know what I mean? You need to be around these other people, but other people come with loads of problems. So it's
like you can either accept one of the two. You get this box of magic. There's nothing you can do with this magic, but you get to see all the intricacies of the world, and you get to possess this knowledge, and it's like mind-boggling. Like, this is what the holy grail of knowledge. But nobody's going to understand this. You can't share it, whatever. Or you can have $1 million. What do you want?
I would take the $1 million in a heartbeat.
Yeah, of course you'd take the $1 million because you're not going to be happy with the Holy Grail.
The only person that's
nobody's going to believe
Grail
you
is somebody that's already got $1 million, maybe. And even then, that sounds like a freaking curse. If you knew something, you know,
let's put it this way:
not always fun.
Not that you couldn't tell anybody. Nobody'd believe you.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can show them. You just now have the knowledge. And so you got to go around saying crazy stuff to them.
Yeah.
But you know that it's true. Or you can have $1 million.
So
of course, everybody's going to take the $1 million because why the heck? Like, it's not satisfying to not be able to get some glory from the situation. You want to be able to be the guy that imparts the knowledge and share.
So it's fun to fantasize about conspiracy theories. But don't go chasing them. Don't go trying to validate them or prove them.
And your homework assignment for this week is if you have a bunch of conspiracy theories, drop one. And if you don't have any, adopt one.
That's interesting.
That's the homework assignment.
All right. Well, with all that said then, we'll wrap this episode up. It's been a long one, lengthy one. Everyone, if you like the episode, check out all our stuff in the description. Hit the like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and everybody, until next week, Stay
Stay
spiritual.
spiritual.